Morning everybody from Australia. I hope this is going to be loud enough, but we'll see how it goes. Today I need some more inks made as my alcohol inks are running down, so I thought I'd come and do a live, or shouldn't say a live, but a video, and then I'll upload it on YouTube later, as I need some more done. So anyway, what you need to have, before I go further, I am also going to do some homemade texture paste and homemade gesso when I'm finished doing the inks. So with the inks, you'll need to have some marking pens. They could be any sort of felt pens. I use the old ones from the kids from school, but I did have to go and buy some the other day because I've run out of the inks, the what do you call it, the felt pens. But I use any sort. They could be the Bics, or they can be Sharpies. They could be those real skinny little ones that the kids use at school. I've got to see the school when they all go back to see if the teachers will keep me their old inks for me, and they've been pretty good, so I usually end up with it. So what you'll need is, or what I use, I should say, is the Isopropyl Alcohol. It's 99% for this. And what else do I use? You'll need pliers, scissors, what do you call one of these little craft, little slicey things, whatever they call them. Some little cups. I use these for art, for painting for the with my grandkids, so I've got those there. A little dish to put all the leftovers and that sort of thing in. Couple little squirt bottles for how many you want to do. So I'll get started. I've already pre-done some in here, so I'll just put my cups in. I just got it in a container because if this thing tips over, they really do stain. They stain badly. Oh, and also you need will be pliers. So I'll remove that piece off. I take that little piece out of inside, the little felt thing, drop that in. I usually do two, because it gives a bit of a more vibrant colour. So I'll just break that off, and then you've got the felt inside. I have been doing this for many years. How I come across this, my two younger children, one is, what's Tanya? 46. She's 45, and Anthony's 46. What I'm doing now is just cutting them after slicing it down the centre. I was bathing Tanya on the table when she was a baby, and because me having the Nico pen sitting on the table with the lid off, which was silly at the time, but it was a good mistake. He knocked over that baby's metho that we used way back then, to put on babies' belly buttons. They was when they were born. It was in a little brown bottle, and it was a special sort of metho. When he knocked it over, it landed on the Nico pen, and it ran, and I thought, wow, I've got ink, because I used to make my kids storybooks, that sort of thing, when they were younger. Now I need the Isopropyl. So then I decided then I could make some inks. And what I'm doing is just washing out these pieces, because it does get a little bit of ink inside of these too. So that's how I come across of making my inks. Otherwise I used to use, and I didn't bring it out either, food dye, and used to use in the metho. Or I'd make some up with water if I needed some watercolour things, because way back then I couldn't afford a great deal of things, so this is how I used to make all my own things to paint their books. And little I know now that they were actual journals, not little books that I used to do. And it used to be really good. So that's that brown one I've done there. So I'll do these other three. Just pull that out. And another thing I did too was making vellum, which was quite a mistake also. Again, bathing Tanya. Anthony sitting on the kitchen table as always when I was bathing her. The baby oil was knocked over, and it actually went onto a Centrelink form for jobs, for unemployment of Terry's, and I nearly had a fit. He knocked the baby all over and it landed on the form that I had to post into Centrelink, and I tried to wipe it off, and surprisingly it came transparent. It became like vellum. I didn't know there was such a thing as vellum back then, but I was quite surprised how transparent it became. So that was another happy surprise that I come across, and now they're well known. It's like, I guess it's hundreds of people do it on YouTube now, but that's how I come across doing that. So that's going back long before YouTube or anything like that was ever known. Drop my pliers. So I used to do that sort of thing, and to go into my kids' little storybooks I used to make. I used to make the books with pictures, and they're known now as glue books. So it's funny how sort of things start off when you're young and they become a known product later down the track. So I'll just do this one. I'm just making sure I've got no colours on my scissors, or not as though it matters, but it'll just put another colour to my inks. I use these with not only with baby oil, I use them for doing lots of different things. The inks. I'm just doing the same process of slicing these. Just be careful you don't slice your finger when you're using this, because I'm just slicing it down the center. I'll do the other one. And I usually leave these sit for a while, or most probably this afternoon I'll go back and take all these out, which I'll show you how I take them out. and put the liquid in my little spray bottles. My spray bottles I use over and over again. They're past their use date now, so the little tubes that's inside, I keep those because I use them for paper beads or fabric beads. I don't waste anything. Also, I've made my inks using, which I haven't got any left at the moment, out of my printer, and I had pulled the felt out of that, because years ago I used to load up my own inks in my cartridges, and then when they got a little bit overboard, I decided then to use the cartridges for other things, because I used to only go to the bin. So I'm just going to cut the tip off, and why I'm cutting the tip off is that they're too long and they hit the bottom, and you're inclined to get little bits of things on the bottom, or it'll harden and it makes it a bit hard for them to pick up the liquid. So I just sort of cut them where there's enough off the bottom of the bottles. So what I'm going to do now, I'll tip that way and put my, whoops, nearly tipped it over, put my bottle in there. And I've got tweezers. I did have another pair here, and it was the green, which I'm going to squeeze. I showered myself the other day doing this, as long as I don't do it again. I'm just sort of hitting it a little bit with the, whoops, again I did it. And squeeze out the liquid. Just a little bit of liquid in that one. If I make up too much, I just put the rest in another jar, a little bottle, without wasting. Oops, and I did it. Sprayed myself with ink. I keep baby wipes on hand too. They're pretty good to clean up a mess. If you choose, wear gloves, but it doesn't bother me. That's why I'd never do my nails, because I'd have too big of a mess. Okay, another one. And the mat I've got underneath is puppy dogs, little puppy mats. I got mine from the from Kmart store. You can also get them from the dollar stores or discount stores. They're pretty good. I'll take that one out, that one out. Now pour that, leave that down there. clean my tweezers by using, I'll move that up in the, by spraying some alcohol over the top. So I can clean them up. Give them a wiping. And I'll do the other one, because this does stain. These poor tweezers are so stained. So I'll clean those up, and then I'll pour that in. In the top there. So now I'll put the lid on. Wipe that over. Make sure your room's ventilated well when using this, because it's pretty overpowering in my internet. Sorry ladies if that went black. I don't know what happened there, but my internet cut out for a couple of seconds. Gets pretty hot here, so it's, yeah, my computer just shuts down for no reasons, but hopefully it'll stay on and won't cut off anymore. So I'll quickly do, that's the green one now done. I'll quickly do this one here. This is a pretty pink. Rid of that one. I'll have 6 of these little pieces in here, so another one. I think another 2 more after this. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Oops, where is it? There's another one in here somewhere. Somewhere. Here we go. Okay. Put my pink in there now. I'll just spray down my tweezers. Okay, that's the pink. And I'll quickly show you how I do my paste. I've got really nice hands. It'll all come off. Okay, put the lid in that one. So that's my green and my pink. So I'll put those in there so nothing will move round. I'll push them aside. I won't need tweezers and that, so they can go aside. I don't need that to go aside. The bottles also I keep, like the lens Sprite that you spray your glasses and that with. I wash them out and use those also. I keep them, so there's not too much that I throw away. Okay, I'll get rid of that one down there. So with my gesso and that, for the gesso I need bicarb soda. That's what we call it in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, but in England, I'm sure. In America, I think they call it baking soda or baking powder. I'm not sure, but it's like when you add water to it, fizzes, so it'll give you a fizzies. It has a funny reaction, or bubbles, I should say. So that's what I use there. That was an old one that I had in the fridge. So instead of throwing it in the bin after it's done, it's used by date. I'm just going to have to pause this for 2 secs. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to get my measuring spoons.